Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the After Show for Altered Carbon, episodes 5 and 6, where tonight we talk about Patricide, a steamy hookup, and the return of Rylene. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, Carbonites. I think I like that name. I'm going to use it. We are back. I'm joined by my lovely co-host. My name is Shaka Smith.
What's up, guys? Nate Miller here.
Evan Mack.
Hey guys, it's Krista.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna have some news later from Krista, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
But let's just kind of jump into this. What were 5 and 6 were really packed with a lot of stuff. What were your overall thoughts about these two episodes?
Well, I guess I'll start.
Go.
We finally got what we've been waiting for with Kristen and talk. So that happened.
Yes, it
Long
did.
awaited. It very much so happened.
Probably should have started with Barry White at the top, right?
But I think we kind of made progress on the case a bit, well, almost, and then it hit a brick wall. But we're learning more about Bancroft and his kids and Isaac and all that, which I liked learning.
Yeah.
And yeah, we learned a lot this episode.
Yeah.
2 episodes.
I think it's the more layers are coming. Characters being more defined. A lot of things going on. I like that it's getting a little more violent, a little more sexy, a little more funky. A couple things going on, and the mystery is unraveling a little bit, throwing a little more twists and turns.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm really excited about getting more information on the mystery and the way that these 2 episodes are able to have these peaks and valleys of emotion and dealing with these super high tense, action-packed, violent moments to next really thoughtful, emotional, slow, dialogue-driven scenes is, I think, really impressive, especially for a sci-fi show.
And they certainly Netflix upped the sex in this one.
Oh.
And it was like they gave us the violence from the prior episode. They're like, oh my God, give them something else now.
Shaka. They're like, we don't listen. Nigga, we got the R rating. In case y'all didn't know, we can do a
If
few
you haven't
things.
seen enough nudity
My
yet.
goodness.
I was just like, wow.
I mean, I'm never mad about seeing him in
thought it was
fast, so it's
Real
fine.
talk, man. Boy,
My
listen.
goodness.
The boy's fit, man. What you want me to say?
They should almost start like an Altered Carbon fitness show. What to do to get in this type of shape.
It's so true.
But we got to talk a little bit about Patricide. But we find out about Isaac and the potential that he may have killed his own father. But before we even get there, it opens up beautifully with the real Riker. Doing some interrogation.
Right.
What did you guys think about that whole series of events from interrogation to arrest of Riker? I thought some of it was interesting, some of it was a little ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. It's the whole way it unfolded, but with how everything unfolds in this show, I feel like it's just so insane that everything can keep going wrong to the point where he's the one that, I don't know. And it's just, now that Talk knows that everything that happened and the connection between Ortega and his sleeve, it's going to be crazy to see what happens with him. Does that make him want to protect her or use her more to help him, or is it going to make him stray away? Yeah, and
I just like that you find out that she's just not just stalking your boy for no reason. You know what I mean? She's why is she so invested in Takeshi? You know what I mean? There's a lot more to it. Life partner, and that's her man. So it's very interesting to see that layer that unravel in the 5th episode.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think about how it ends when he gets arrested? He's really upset with Ortega. Riker is. What do you think about that sequence?
I thought that was interesting. It plays a lot to Ortega now and why she is the way she is, because I think she realized how much her doubting him crushed her, and I think that's part of the reason that flipped her around to believing that he was set up and going on this almost fanatical investigation to try to prove him innocent. So I thought it was cool. It was a little cheesy.
Well, I thought it was so weird that he was so offended by her question. She didn't assume that he was. He was so offended.
But they're in a relationship and partners, and if someone that you really trusted and you thought really knew you and loved you and cared about you thought that you did something as awful as murdering someone,
he was broken. He was like a shell of a man when she said that.
But wasn't he just torturing this guy before? I was like, why is he shot? You may have also killed him.
But also, he was like, you don't believe me, then I stand no chance.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought it was such a bizarre. He was just offended.
Right, but
I
he's
just saw you
obviously-
torturing this guy.
He's obviously not in the right mental space.
Yeah, that's fair.
We see,
Yeah.
I mean, earlier in that scene, she like tries to talk him down, and then even lets the other guy free, and essentially tells him that she
Yeah.
doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
So it's not like the first time that she's doubted him. I think that was just like
So it's almost
the
compounding.
yeah, like
Yeah.
he gets even more
Yeah.
exacerbated because she doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
It's something he feels really passionate about too.
Right.
By the way, so
The thing that I got from that first interrogation scene is, especially the way Ortega interacts with him, is that we've seen him at that point. He's already gone off the deep end. He is like
Yeah.
obsessed with Mary Lou Henchy because of their friendship
friendship,
as
right?
kids or
Okay.
something. He doesn't believe that she would have converted to Neo-C without telling him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he has this gut feeling that something is wrong.
And we get this narrative now about this religious coding and
Yeah.
what it could mean and how people that aren't religious seem to be getting coded that way.
It's also cool to
yeah.
to get more of actually Mary Lou Henchy's plot. This is a great example of noir storytelling of how we've seen Mary Lou Henchy in every episode. I mean, I don't think every episode, but in the majority of the episodes, either just a bit with like the part with her mom, or when we saw the falling and the kid and the dad finding the body. Like
Right.
we've seen these parts of this thing, and we really had no idea about her story, and now we're getting slowly but surely a little bit piece by piece of kind of what happened.
And I
Yeah.
think they timed it perfectly because we were just about to be like, wait, what happened to the underlying story?
Right.
And then it brings you right
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah.
Which I loved. We get I guess Takeshi confronting Bancroft about this whole sleeve idea, and then going a little bit further to confront Bancroft when he is sort of having his Mother Teresa moment, which was
Mother Teresa moment.
it was almost admirable but bizarre at times too. What did you guys think about that? And I guess the psyche of Laurens Bancroft.
it's interesting. That boy got layers, man.
Like, you
Boy
think?
got sleeves on top of sleeves, many sleeves.
That's what it is, though. It is a Mother Teresa thing, but it's more of he isn't doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
I
mean,
mean, it's what else can you do? And he's the only one. I'm just like so
What is-
torn
but
on
what
it.
is
Because he wants
What
to be
is-
worshipped, and so you don't like the
Well,
fact
that
that he's
question.
getting this
Yeah,
worship thing.
so I
but
guess
then
I'm
you
just torn.
But he
people are
doesn't-
crying. They're happy.
He doesn't have anything. He doesn't. I mean, theoretically, stand to gain anything. He's got everything he wants already.
Yeah.
It's true,
But
though.
the way that he talks about himself, and it's clear that he almost feels like he's close to godhood. Like he is
Yeah, you're
so
right.
far above these people.
Without question.
Ego
Not
stroke.
not
Yeah.
wanting to
It's-
not help them, but of a
Yeah.
place of his own inflated ego. I thought it was really interesting how he talks about, he when he says, why do you think I didn't choose to be a younger version of myself? And we talked about this
very-
earlier.
yeah,
right.
And he says because this point right here is where a man reaches respect. If you've made it that far, you've been through some things.
Yeah. It's
true.
People will respect you. He doesn't want to be the young, virile guy that's just going to go out and screw all the time and fight
Yeah,
people.
he wants to be respected.
Right, which says a lot about his character.
And I think a little bit about society because we've all probably had the period where we've been the young person into a new job, but just based on the fact that you're a young person, they just don't respect you or your
No
ideas.
question.
Yeah, so I related to that point.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's just very interesting to see that your initial thoughts on him when you first encounter him. They kind of want you to invoke a certain emotion in you, and as the episodes unfold, like, okay, there's a little bit more to this guy. There's actually aspects to him that I can actually draw from, and then that I might be doing myself if I was in his position. And I just think it's interesting that he kind of brings that out in you as far as his character goes.
Yeah.
And can we talk about Takeshi and I guess Grace under fire? Everyone around you can just touch you, and you can be infected. And he's just
Well,
put your hands in your
Right?
pockets.
Well, I
like,
also
hold
thought-
on, hands in my pockets.
I thought it was so like
I know. I was like, leave.
the fact that he would make that decision after just finding out whose sleeve he's in and like actually starting to care
That's what
about
I'm
Ortega,
saying.
and then he
Right.
takes the body there.
And then
He literally says like, if you touch them, you'll die. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, and just puts his hands in his
And Laurens
sleeve.
is sitting there foaming at the mouth, and he's
Yeah.
just catching his And I'm like, you've seen the movie Hitch? Where
yeah.
it was immediate. And I would have been like, you know what? I want to go. We'll continue this conversation later.
Seriously.
When you're not in this situation.
Yeah,
thank you.
just so bizarre. We actually, in episode 5, we also lost a little bit of Poe and Vernon. I guess they're alienated.
Their fights are hilarious.
Oh, man. He came in like he scolded them too. First of all, come to the hotel, like, don't talk to me. I got something to go. If you got any information for me that can help me, kick rocks. You know what I mean? Like, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, man. What's going on? He like attacked those two, man.
And I guess part of it's because he was in this VR torture chamber,
Absolutely.
which must have seemed like eternity.
Yeah.
And I guess we saw a little bit, just so much information. But
Yes.
what do you guys think about the Miriam scene? Because I like that one. And he gets a way out. He's offered a way out.
You can have all my clones.
The best way out,
Love that.
one would think.
I'll buy you all, Liz, and
Yeah.
you can
I'll
have
ship you
your
off
way
to my
with
private
all of
cloud.
me. We can do some things for a while.
What did you guys think of that offer?
That's tempting.
See, that couldn't have been me. That'd have been like, the show would have been over right there.
I think what's more interesting is
So as a
her-
girl, I was not as compelled to leave.
I was like, listen, we can talk about some things, girl.
I like that she implies that. Well, I mean, she says that Bancroft killed himself, and then she implies that even if you do get to the truth, which is that he killed himself, and he finds out, he's not going to be happy that you said that, and he's just going to kill you.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's an interesting. Do you believe her? Do you think because she offers to not only does she make that offer for them to run away, but even before that, she just makes the offer just to buy him off, just to be like, how much he's paying you, I'll pay you double. Just leave it alone.
I think how I look at it is I understand where she's coming from, but I feel like it's out of a place where she's only looking out for number one, which is her.
Yeah.
Which is why she wants him to leave, but it might be true. Like, maybe he doesn't let him go, maybe that's never his intention. Bancroft might just be like, oh, thanks for solving this, but you're still dead.
It just seems like offering him Clone Island. It just seems like
Seriously.
something is behind.
Yeah,
the
like
motive.
she has a motive.
Like, that's awful generous of you.
Yeah, for
Like,
no
honestly.
reason.
Have all my clones unclothed.
Well, someone we do wish we could clone is our very own Maria Menounos. She's amazing. She's got a great podcast
Yes,
called
you
Conversation
do.
with
See,
Maria.
I like your segue, Shaka. Shaka, you set me up so nicely.
It's a team
You guys,
effort.
you guys want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life. For those who do, we have got the podcast for you. Conversation with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversation with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know that it was us who sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out.
Yeah. Great podcast. She always has great people she's interviewing.
Absolutely.
It's like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
mini
it's really interesting,
masterclass.
guys.
It really is, though. It's awesome.
So, but back into Altered Carbon. Thank you, Maria. So we get a little bit more, I guess, when we talk about the steamy hookup with Takeshi and Ortega.
The moment we've been waiting for.
The moment we've been waiting for.
Did we get that moment?
Well, how did you guys feel? Was that a great moment of relief? Were you cheering? Were you saying, this is the moment we were...
It had to happen, but also the
Yeah.
lead up into it, their
Yeah.
conversation, I was like, oh, what did he just apologized? I'm not Elias, is that what he said? Or Riker?
Yeah.
And she
yeah.
was like, just shut up.
Don't ruin this moment.
Like, okay, Ortega.
And what about that fatherly advice, I guess, from Abood?
Oh, that was precious. I mean, we know, now what happens makes me sad, but like
I
looking
mean,
into
it was still kind of sad already. Like
Yeah.
we've the amount of stuff we've seen Kovacs do already. Sorry, boo.
You're like, what do you
Not,
mean?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, she's low on the list.
I'd like to see you try, man. I'd like to
I'll
see you
kill
try.
you.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, okay.
But it was very sad, and we know, of course, how things end. But how did we feel about that moment of Ortega? Ortega's always kind of on her own whim. She
Yeah.
decides, Demi has got to be spun up. She's got some questions. How do we feel about Ortega? I don't know if I like this kind of streak in her personality, but how about you guys?
She's a wild card.
Yeah. She's like a monkey wrench, the ultimate monkey wrench. You know what I mean? Her attitude varies based on every episode, every scenario. She's
Yeah.
I like her. I like she has layers to her. So it's.
She is. I feel like
I don't know what she's thinking.
she just makes decisions based on emotion, which
Yeah.
gets in her way a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, she's all over the place.
Her emotions do get the better of her at times. What do you think?
I mean, I think she's on the right path, but I again, I think it lends to all of the things that we've learned about her character, that she can't let this go.
Are you warming up to her though? Are you starting to warm up?
Are you turning the corner?
Are you starting?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, but especially once we get to know more about her relationship with Riker, and then the doubt and the turn and all that stuff. This is the part in the show where I started to like the character, because all of the crazy, weird nonsense stuff that she was doing earlier, it, like when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, oh,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, she's not just a really shallow character. There's a reason, I just don't know about it.
Correct.
And she can
Which
go
I think
from
is great writing.
And she can go from grandmother to maniacal killer and be fine. So it's really sure they're the same body. I was just like, is that the same dude? That's crazy. And
Guy's getting a lot of mileage.
And then we have.
I do want to say when she's questioning Demi, there's a really great quote.
You got it.
Yeah, he reread it.
It's been a long day. Okay, he says, "Where is the voice that said altered carbon would free us from the cells of our flesh?"
Oh, that was good.
That was such a great quote.
Sounds like a Chinese proverb.
Because it's almost like they are trapped.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
Well,
continually
it's just like we talked about last week, how this idea when it starts is like, theoretically, we all can live forever. This is going to be great. We won't, we're not going to just die because our bodies fall apart.
Yeah.
But it's, all that's green is not gold.
It's
all
true.
that shines is not gold.
Yeah.
What I'm saying.
I know what
You know what I'm
you're
saying.
And we get a little bit of that in the next episode with Riker kind of questioning with Falconer. Like, just sort of like, did we even do this for the right? Like, was it all for naught? But at the end of episode 5, of course, we get that crazy scene, and we see a little bit more of the Ghost Walker. What an elevator scene. What a way to end this episode.
I just want to point out, he's wearing a police uniform, right? So he can sneak in, which he got from the guy earlier that he bought the coffee for, and he asked him, he's like, "Oh, are you a believer?"
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And his signature move.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
That's his phrase.
Thing. Are you a believer?
Because he says that too to Demi right before he starts chasing him.
Well, no part of him. Man. He's very dangerous.
Oh, man, that scene. When you see him, like,
gruesome.
just as the door closed.
And
spectacular.
And whatever that slicer machine is, they keep finding new ways to gross us
Yeah,
out.
it's
watching the sliver of flesh.
What weapon could we get that would produce the
Shaka.
most amount of blood and gore?
Shaka, they're like, listen, we got the R ratings. Just want to let you know, we have the R rating.
It's just like, wow.
It's the internet. It's the Wild Wild West.
Oh, man. And then, of course,
I don't think they ever did it, though.
There.
It was a lot, but I don't think they ever did it. It was very close.
Right on the cusp.
You know, I think the episode where they torture him, they set us up for this one where it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
At least he's not getting some like animal to the eye.
Yeah, that was rough.
I had to turn away like
this was a walk
few
in the
times.
park compared to that episode.
It was so quick. It happened quickly. But of course, episode 6, we start off with Ortega fighting for her life. And I guess Riker trying to protect her by telling her a few lies.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that relationship and how it's growing?
We're seeing that Riker might not want to admit it, but he's not in love with her, but he like cares what happens to the girl.
Yeah. Now he's starting. Now he actually is something he actually cares about. For
Yeah,
once, you know what I mean. He's not just
I'm
like
not
wandering.
Gonna let this chick die on my watch.
Absolutely.
But you're seeing him like actually care, or showing like little pieces of caring, and you're like, oh, it's in there. He's got something in there.
Tin Man got a heart after all.
Yeah, but can you start a relationship on that foundation?
I don't think it's gonna be a
not
relationship.
a successful one, not a prosperous one.
Well, you don't think it's going to be a relationship?
I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think it's like that's where it's going, but I think he cares for her enough where he also doesn't want her to die. Just because he doesn't want to,
This is just where I get a lot of confused messages, because earlier when they're talking in the house, they're like upset, and then they have that moment and she's like, no, I can't. He's like, look in my eyes, tell me what you see. And she says, they're not your eyes. And then it's around and they're fucking.
That's what I think that was, them sleeping together was more of a, it needed to happen for both their
animalistic
cases.
type
like,
of.
She misses Riker, and Riker's technically right there.
That was
it
like
might not be him, but his body's there.
And
so
he's
she's
been
like,
on ice for 250 years.
and he's got time to,
Animalistic, sexual, like, we got to do this. There's no love here.
Bancroft's
Yeah.
wife.
So,
She's got the pleasure body too.
She got that pleasure body though.
so hopefully Takeshi's not falling in too deep and gonna get played here. By Ortega.
That would be a role reversal for them.
Oh, man.
I just liked you for your sleep.
Oh my god.
Yes.
For real.
I thought it was interesting. There was almost a little bit of commentary on, I guess, class and how money plays an issue because she
Yes.
couldn't get seen, and then he had to use whatever Bancroft's identification to get her seen.
Oh yeah.
And what do you think? How does it change the nature of, I guess, medicine when you know that everyone can live at some point? It's just a matter of putting them on ice. So do you stop treating the poor because they can't afford it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
put 'em on
basically what it is. Yeah.
mortgage and
Yeah.
you rent out their bodies. You fix their bodies and then you rent them out because they
until
can't
they
afford to
can
pay
pay
the
off.
bills.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of the more
dark-
scarier parts.
Cold-blooded.
I mean, it's kind of like a slightly worse version of what we've got going on today.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a more it's like a more scary scale. Yeah.
Same stuff, different
So true.
decade.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a film called Repo Men.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah, with Jude Law and
I've
Forrest
seen that one.
Forrest
Yeah.
Whitaker. Basically, it's the future where they can artificially 3D print organs.
Yes.
But if you don't pay your
They
bill,
like
they
re-
come
re-
and
they
they
repossess
you
it.
and they pull it
They
out.
repossess your organs.
Yeah.
But I mean, and today, no, if you go to the ER, they have to see you.
Yeah.
You know, in Altered Carbon's world, it's sort of like, not so much.
Put you in the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hopefully we don't get that far in
Let's-
I
real
mean,
life.
they'll
hope not.
see you, but doesn't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
You'll
so
be dead
you might
bleeding
before we
out
see
in
you.
the hospital.
Go ahead and
I
bleed
also
out.
like
Yeah.
how they threw that, a couple lines in with Kovacs to justify why he didn't just buy her a whole new sleeve.
Yeah.
About her being upset and stuff, which I think kind of makes sense. But also, like, if her body was like destroyed and you've got all that money, I feel like you would just get another sleeve.
I agree.
But also,
Right,
it would
but
make
I-
the show really weird if all of a sudden the actress just changed.
But
would throw
yeah,
people off.
but I think the point, because during that Dia de los Muertos scene, it was so apparent how strong the family felt,
Yeah.
assuming she somehow imparted that to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made
And
sense.
I also
to me.
think she's not completely sure what side of that she falls. I know she's not, like right now she could be sleeved up, but I think her main thing is she just wants to be able to be spun up if she was murdered.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
Tell
necessarily.
the-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the one part of it that she doesn't agree with. So I think that's why she's conflicted too.
Yeah, so she sort of like is on the fence, but
Yeah.
and I think it was the right decision that he made. I think she would have been
agree.
pissed off if he got her a whole
And she got a
new-
sick new arm out of it.
Yeah,
So.
which she uses very quickly to rough up Tanaka.
She hostile, man. She's so hostile.
Body or arm slams him.
And we got more information about this character, and I guess sort of his somewhat betrayal. What do you guys think of like how he's panned out so far?
I don't like him. I mean, simple as that. I feel like I knew from the beginning that I don't think I ever really liked him, but I think you can tell when you watch it back, especially since that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Like every week I rewatch the two, and then I watch him like slyly in the background, and I'm like, he's been up to something the whole time.
He's being like the double
Yeah.
agent role
Shady.
for
He's like
lying
a
in the
shady
weeds.
guy. Yeah.
So, but I think he's done it brilliantly. I don't know who the actor is, but he's done it pretty well.
I don't know either.
We gotta go back a little bit because we got such great work from the guy who played Max Headroom, Matt Fuhrer. We got from the Fight Drone.
Oh yeah.
So we got to go back
name
and talk
is,
a little bit about that. Matt.
Carnage, the character name.
Oh, yeah.
Appropriate.
Yeah, very appropriate. So that's how we kind of got to Isaac in the first place. Was this whole scene of going to the fight drone, and we get Kovacs actually seeing his
old body.
Unbelievable.
What did you guys think about that? And was it weird because
Not expecting it.
yeah.
It was really cool when I was first watching like the previews of the show. That's how they kind of sold the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this cool Asian guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This show's gonna be awesome. And I literally totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I found out who it is in the show, I'm like, oh, and he just pops up again. It was like a kind of like a pleasant surprise because now I know like the layers of the show.
Yeah.
So it was really like a shock to me to see him.
Super shocked.
I was excited though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it's like I didn't think I was ever gonna see him again.
And how great was his like holding back reaction to not be like, hey, that's me. I want my money back.
I want my body back.
Well, I mean, because he's also pretending to be Riker,
Yeah.
too.
So
Which I do
cool.
have to say, before that, when they first come in and she's like telling him how to be Riker, just stand there and look angry, and then afterwards she tells him, she's like, what does she say?
I do most of the talking.
Right? No, she says something like, take it down a bit.
Oh, take
Yeah.
it down a notch.
Yeah, she's like, take it down a little bit, like that, just standing angrily, which I thought was just hilarious.
But yeah,
But they get the footage.
Yeah, they get the footage, and then it leads to going to Isaac's and finding out a little bit more.
Well,
Just casually, like, I read lips.
Yeah. I read lips, you know.
I can tell he said it.
She was like, okay.
This is the upgraded sleeve.
What else do you do?
Oh, God.
And so it leads to Isaac's place, and I love this idea of Isaac just still kind of wanting to be the child that's loved. Maybe it reminds me a little bit of Trump Jr. I don't know.
Yeah, but I love. I've always loved that concept. You know, I don't think it's ever overdone. You know, when the guy that's nothing in the shadow of his father, you know, and he wants
spoiled rich boy that just wants daddy's love.
I love that.
I think there's more than that too. I think
Yeah.
the implication is that Bancroft has been abusing him too. For
Oh my
years.
God!
Because
Yeah,
he
there's
doesn't let his
physical abuse in
children
there.
grow
Grow.
past a certain age,
Right.
right?
Was there any Donald Trump Jr.? Like for me, I got some like, hey,
Wait a minute, there's a little something there.
Yeah.
That's true though.
I don't know if they wrote it that way on purpose. But I was like,
But I thought it was interesting how they laid it out in episode 5, the possibility that he could have been behind it, that his plan was to,
Replace
since
him.
he couldn't get the inheritance,
Kill his
just
dad.
basically go in that sleeve and then just be his dad.
Absolutely.
Which I
Yeah.
thought was an interesting plan, but as we see, that's not what happened.
But and again, it still makes this idea of once we do find the killer, have we actually found the killer is such a complicated issue?
Right.
So cool.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
can just impersonate his dad for months, and people aren't even
Right.
you know
Like
figuring
at
it
that
out.
point, who's who?
Yeah.
He even says after he sees that footage, he's like, "How do you know who is who?"
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Bancroft, and that's Isaac.
Or like that you're actually
yeah.
talking to Laurens right that moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
That's
don't know.
That's a very interesting part.
Yeah, and
That's
It
pretty-
still gets me. I'm like, I don't know.
were you guys? How did you react to Lauren's reaction when the clone is wheeled in? Because it
That's
didn't make
more
much
like-
sense to me. But
That's got to do something to you
It's
more than it would
that's
be
a-
to everyone watching. You're
No.
like beating up your own.
That's a classic.
but he's
power
used to
move.
killing. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an abusive power move.
He's
it's
got
an
the
exertive.
money, he can
He
do
would
it.
have beat the crap out of Isaac, but you know there were
Miriam would have
people
had it
there.
with
Yeah,
him.
Yeah.
she's standing
There's
there.
people there.
So he did the next best thing of displaying, brutal violence against something that can't fight back.
That looks just like you.
Yeah, he
I just, yeah.
doesn't care.
I'm gonna
How many
beat
of
the
his
hell out of me.
He just
It'd be hard
killed
for me
a
to do that.
clone earlier with a disease.
It'd be hard
Yeah.
to kill. Yeah.
So like, I don't think
Well,
he.
That's
but
true,
it's
but he
different
wasn't
though. But he
physically
wasn't
beating
looking
it
at
to death.
himself and beating it.
I'm sorry, I just can't get past that. He was like,
I'm
it's
just
fine,
saying,
it's my face.
he's been around for like 300 years. I'm sure it's not the first time he's killed somebody that looks just like him.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know?
he's like desensitized towards the whole
I
game.
think he's desensitized to everything.
It'd be hard
That's
for me
the
to kill
point,
him.
So
yeah.
above the rest of us. It's just, it's not
true,
even
though.
like, it's not a body to him. It's a sleeve. It's a piece of
A
clothing.
vessel, like
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, it's a counterfeit made under my nose sleeve, a copy of himself. So I'm sure
So he's
that-
really upset. Yeah.
Because you guys, the guy,
This
his son was
knockoff.
pretending to be him.
Yeah. So that would have been your reaction.
I mean, if I was Bancroft,
Bancroft.
yes. If
You'd
I
do
was a
the same.
megalomaniac, psycho,
300 years.
300-year-old meth.
Make
This
sure
is
to
where
add
you-
that
Yes,
in.
yes. The caveat. Make sure you get the whole soundbite.
We also had this great scene with Kovacs and Falconer, where they're talking, and he really says, "Did we do this for nothing?" Which I think I've lost that part of the show where I forget like these people were on this mission. These envoys had this,
We like
and
lose it, yeah.
and their whole mission's
Like
all
it's,
for naught.
Yeah, they're like
Like
this
that.
kind of like a resistance, and it got like wiped out.
And you
it's-
wake up and it's just gone, and the other side is far and ahead won.
What do
know?
you do when the
Yeah.
war is over? What do you do? How do you?
Yeah. So that for me was
It
a moment of sadness.
Yeah, and it really hasn't been addressed since. I mean, we've moved on, and they're obviously in power. But when they bring it up, I'm like, I forget that that's why this all started.
Yeah, because you would
Yeah.
think the character would almost have some real agonizing moments of realizing everything they fought for was just
Yeah.
long past.
Long, like it's like done.
Yeah, so this was the first time we actually saw I saw that acknowledgement.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting too that Cal herself specifically said like, "I'm just your conscience."
Yeah.
So we know for sure it's
Yes.
not some weird vision
Yeah.
or she's not needle casting inside of him.
No.
There's two in the one stack, nothing
Yeah,
weird
they
like
nipped
that.
that in
It's
the
just
bud.
his.
Yeah.
Which is good
did.
because in this show, who
You
knows?
never
Well,
know.
as we find out, but before we go there, we do still have Lizzie to deal with.
Oh, Lizzie.
Yeah, can't forget Lizzie. She seems to be making some progress, but she may have a couple setbacks. What are you guys thinking about this storyline? Because I like it, but I'm like, do we have enough room for the storyline?
I know. It's it's important, but also I feel like they quick shove it in there every time. But like, you need to know what's. I feel like in the end, she's gonna have a bigger role, and it's gonna all make sense. But girl, Dad needs to like leave her alone and let her like get her stuff figured out.
Especially when Poe was trying to like invoke something in her and bring something out of her, and he kind of like stifled that a little bit. It was like I think Poe's like approach might be the best approach.
Yeah, just let him do his thing. Obviously, she's talking and throwing knives at shit. Like let it let her
let her do her.
And I still, Vernon is manning up against Poe. Poe's got guns in the ceiling. What are you doing?
Oh man, that camera shot where he's like, "No, I don't feel pain, but I can feel anger." That tilt. Whoa!
Amazing.
I want no part of that hotel.
And then on the phone
good.
when he was at the hospital and he was like, "Can you tell Vernon I'm still mad at him?" And he's like, "You can tell him." Obviously, I can't.
But when Vernon walks out of there, he says, "This is not over." He's got guns.
No, it's over.
It's over.
It's his daughter.
over.
He cares about his daughter. He wants to help her, but he feels
she
powerless.
doesn't feel the same about him right now.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
It's just like no angry conversation is going to go your way
Yeah.
here, though. So.
Absolutely not.
And then we have another character that we're introduced to. So we get Demi, and we have Demi sitting down with a mysterious character who's giving him orders, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Wasn't he at the meth party?
Hemingway?
Hemingway?
Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was he at the meth party? I don't remember.
If he was, I don't remember him there. Was he?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like 99%
It's very
sure.
possible.
Yeah. If the chat.
Yeah. Anyone know?
We got Princess. Let
Princess,
us know.
Princess.
Hold it
Holla at
down.
us real quick.
Hit the interwebs. Let us know. But we're introduced to at least this kind of persona. This character who seems to be running stuff.
Right.
What do you guys think of Hemingway? Do you trust? Well, I don't trust him.
I need to know more about him, but definitely don't trust him.
I need a little more information before I start hating or loving.
It's interesting. Apparently, Hemingway is also not only employed both of the Demis, also employs the Ghostwalker and
He has connections.
Tanaka.
Yeah.
Because that's who he visited in the VR.
I feel like he runs the city, basically.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Some
But
kind
it
of
That's what
was
kind of
also
setting up
very
to
interesting to see that when Kovacs went in the VR to meet him, Hemingway was able to realize that it was Takeshi.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
That was
So
that
he
was interesting.
may have some extra sensory
right.
we
so
don't
something
know.
else we don't know about.
I did love that every time Demi called him his brother in this episode, people were like, "No,
he's a
it's
clone.
you. It's a clone. It's not your brother."
You weirdo.
I really liked the part where we saw Hemingway like do his backup, where like he was throwing up, and Demi was like, "I should kill him now," and Ghostwalker was like, "I'll cut you open with my flower knife thing."
And it was interesting because for the first time, you kind of see no matter how powerful you are, there is going to be
There is
some
that
moment
weak
of
point.
vulnerability.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is important to point out for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's going to come up a little bit later. Before we continue, we still have some news and gossip,
Yes,
some
we do
important
have
updates, right?
We have a little bit. So it. Yes.
Oh, I like that right there. I like that. A little jingle.
So it hasn't been confirmed, obviously, yet if there is a season 2, but Kinnaman has been signed on to do a new show for Amazon. It's called Hannah, and he's actually in it with one of his Killing co-stars. So, I mean, if there is a season 2, I'm sure he could do both.
Do we
Not
know
sure
if-
if it all.
do we
Because it
know-
hasn't been confirmed, right?
Yeah, but do we know if that's Hannah from like Hannah the movie, the
It's a
little
book,
girl?
apparently. It's it says, what is the show about? Equal parts high concept thriller and coming of age drama. Follows the journey of an extraordinary young girl, Hannah.
From the
as
movie.
she-
Yeah.
The movie's
Oh,
awesome.
I've
the
never
movie.
seen the movie. Okay.
It's a really
Very
good film.
good.
I'm guessing he
that the
plays
shark?
one of the off-the-book CIA agents.
Hannah?
Oh no! Oh, I know. Oh,
Yeah, I
with the
don't know
little
what this-
girl.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense. So yeah, that's coming to Amazon soon.
Very
So
cool.
that's our news with Kinnaman.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in more Joel Kinnaman,
that's my boy right
we have
there.
no notes on whether he's
Yes.
clothed or not, but
Yeah, he might have more clothes on in
Yeah,
this.
probably still take the shirt off.
Yeah,
be
flex on him.
mad.
Flex on him, Joel. Flex on him.
well, episode 6 kind of rounds out with them getting kidnapped and having this epic fight scene, fighting for their lives. I love it. The action scenes here are just always amazing.
Yeah.
What were you guys' takes on it?
It was wild. it was crazy how he ambushed them like that. That was, I mean, all of the heads falling over was pretty nuts. And then especially just seeing his body just like out there, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Also, Ortega can't catch a break.
No.
Yeah.
Just got out of the hospital. Give her a minute.
Yeah.
Let her breathe, right?
She's still in a little bit better shape though
Yeah,
than when
I
she
did like
entered
her
the
comments
hospital.
about the arm. What did
Yeah,
she
in
say?
the
She was
end.
like, by the way, I'm loving this arm.
Yeah. Because I really like my arm. I love the intro that Carnage gave them, where he said it's a love story with a body count. That was really great. Yeah, it was really well choreographed, I thought. Also really cool, the Reaper, that Demi in old Envoy's body was using on the knife.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that he has to cut Kovacs like 6 times before
Yeah.
he goes
yeah.
down, but he just barely nicks Ortega like on her hand,
And she's out.
she's just gone.
There's some random moments like that in this show.
Yeah.
I
you know,
wonder
that
if
makes
it's some
sense.
of like his training or something that allows
Probably,
him
like
to
Envoy training.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Maybe just because he's bigger, it takes more.
He's a big boy though. He's a load.
The choreography was great though
Yeah.
for that fight.
They're doing a great job with their action sequences. I think they did a good job of leading up to the meat of the show, and how much effort they put in with the stunt choreography and just how it reminded me a lot of my favorite type of martial arts scenes when I in my kung fu movies that I used to watch when I was growing up, and I just think that they're bringing a lot of elements in a futuristic way.
Yeah.
Some kind of Mad Max, crazy Blade Runner, kung fu, crazy stuff going on. It's like one of Mortal Kombat stuff going on.
Yeah, the fact
Yeah.
that we've been able to get futuristic blaster gun
There
combat
you go.
and then just nice street brawler fist combat,
Yeah, that's
and
really
then now at the end with the mysterious ninja that turned out to be his sister that comes in,
Yes.
just full on
Bomb drops.
ninja sword fights,
How
like
crazy.
amazing.
cutting these dudes down.
Seriously.
Really, really great
Just good
choreography, and you can tell it's really good choreography because you got lots of long composed shot, not
That's
a bunch
how-
of just mini cuts.
There goes.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact. That what you just is a fun
Yeah.
fact. You want to see. That's how you know you get
It
great
really,
action.
yeah, and that's really helps add to the momentum,
Yeah.
especially with that episode, like the way it rises between all this stuff, because we get the Bancroft stuff, we get all, them getting we get the VR stuff, them getting kidnapped, then the first fight against the monster rhino guy.
Minotaur,
And
right?
then the other guy, which they barely beat, then they're down, and you're like, well, shoot, now what are they going to do? And we get this crazy, literally out of nowhere, this
That-
Deus Ex Machina.
This is why I kind of think Falconer's going to come back, because the show, as much as
You still
it's
riding that
crazy,
train?
well,
Hold out hope. Hold out hope.
He wants it.
they've been paying
No,
us off.
hold it down, hold
They've
it
been
down.
paying us off.
Yeah.
We get Takeshi's original body. We get him fighting himself.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Sick.
But I mean, I feel like they pay off some of
Love
these
that
things that
horse
we want. Yeah.
It's true,
And
maybe.
so, and the way they've been showing these images of Rylene, and you've been like, oh, I want to see this sister, and then
Yeah.
boom, we get her.
Get the
That's
sister.
true.
So I'm like, come on. I mean, I know she's just in the consciousness right now, but I feel like they're gonna give us that payoff.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, they'll maybe hint towards it, and then maybe we'll
Like,
get it in
new
season 2.
season. Oh, she's busy.
It said the fight was the hardest. The fight.
It looked like it.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's very complex.
We should hopefully we can get some of the stunt people in here, because I would
That
love
would
to
I
be
talk
would
to some of the
love
stunt
that
Sweet.
people.
because they were man.
It is a late show, but hopefully we can get someone to come.
Y'all better
Yeah.
come up in here and talk to us.
Well, I guess
see those moves?
I don't know why. I I'm having nightmares
whoop
tonight
us.
now.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and go into our predictions with your prediction for
Yeah.
as much as you can without giving away anything you may have already seen.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
What difference? Does he
I
always?
feel like it got deeper.
That's sultry. A prediction.
I feel like that was flirtatious.
God.
Let's just start on
Me
there.
again? Okay. I don't know. I guess we started with me last week. But
You should be ready.
We're gonna draw straws next time.
I don't know. I guess I think now that we have his sister back,
Yeah.
possibly. I don't know. I'm off about her. I feel like she's not. They're not going to be like their close relationship like they once were. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
it might be too
she's-
easy for them to be close.
Yeah, I feel like she's not the same. Obviously, she's lived a life, and we've seen that in her battle experience. But
Absolutely.
I feel like she's not a good guy.
And
Like I want her to be.
and for everyone, also answer this question: do you think Miriam did it or not? Let's just.
No. No.
or offer who you think may have done it if you don't think Miriam did it.
I don't think
At
she
this
did.
stage.
I think maybe he did. I don't know.
Killed himself.
Maybe but she knows he did. Maybe Miriam knows exactly what happened, but maybe I think it was him. I think he killed himself.
It's quite possibly. I can go with that. I don't want to.
Any other predictions?
I don't want to go too crazy. No, I'm with her on that.
It's altered card.
It's true.
I don't know. It's so
crazy.
hard. It could go anyway.
It really could.
I feel like she does know more than she's letting on, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. As far as predictions go, I just want to see more of the Ghost Walker. I want to see the showdown with Takeshi. I just want to see that. I want something nasty. I want like 10-minute, like
Nasty.
something nasty, girl. You know what I mean? I just want to see my boy, man. That's like the new Lord Voldemort of the show. So I want to see him get down. That's pretty much all I'm predicting. One-on-one showdown. One-on-one. One-on-one without spoiling
Without
stuff.
spoiling.
Without ruining stuff.
I'm excited to see how everything comes together.
And you guys, he's watching the show and he's avoiding
Which is why he's
spoilers.
so vague every time.
He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job.
And
These are your go back in time predictions.
He's walking on eggshells. He's walking on eggshells.
yeah, I think we're gonna get some back history on Kovacs' sister, obviously,
Wow.
and hopefully we
Okay.
find out
Very great
where
prediction.
she got her ninja moves.
This is
But I
detailed.
think
Accurate
also not just because of that, I think we're gonna get more about Takashi too, and more
Cool.
specifically to fill in the timeline gaps that we have.
I like
Exciting.
it. I like it.
And we didn't really talk about it much, but we did get some flashbacks of Takashi kind of seeing his own abuse and his father issues.
Right.
That's true.
So I expect it's going to kind of rear its ugly head more,
Right.
Because it was only a little bit that we got. For me, I think Miriam's protecting someone. So probably a child.
Could be
Probably a child.
one of the 1,200 that.
Yeah, because
She been getting around.
and it's probably a child we haven't met yet. Because I feel like because there's so many. It's
I'd
probably,
like to meet some more.
And so I just feel like it wasn't her because I think she kind of knows well enough not to cross this dude.
Without question.
Yeah, so I think she has a couple lines she won't. So it'll be interesting to see. But that's my theory. My running
like it.
theory. Well, I think that takes us to the end.
Yes.
I'm so excited to go back and watch 7 and 8 now. It's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Exciting.
Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us. As always, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nate Miller here. You can find me on all social media at Dog Like Nate.
And are you guys on other shows? Are you on other shows right now?
Oh yeah, every week I host a gaming podcast on Mondays at 6:00. You can see that on Twitch/InventoryFullPT.
Oh, I'd like to see that. I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna
Yeah,
subscribe to
you
that.
should come in and you should guest sometime.
Oh, I think I would love to do that. Holla at your boy. Oh, it's your boy, Evan T. Mack. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Evan T. Mack. I'm on the Mixed Match Challenge, WWE, every third Tuesday or something. Holla at your boy.
And I'm Krista Flentje, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Krista Flentje, and I'm on Grey's AfterShow on Thursdays and Terror today,
Nice.
right before this. So.
Hey.
And on Wednesdays, check out Fit Club. You guys do the same
That's
at
right.
6 o'clock.
I watched that. I watched it last week.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, you guys out there watch, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, Carbonites.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.